The year was 1590. The Atlantic Ocean stretched endlessly in every direction, gray and cold beneath a sky the color of steel. A small English ship, its sails tattered from months at sea, crept toward the coastline of the New World. On its deck stood Governor John White, his heart pounding with anxious anticipation. For 3 long years he had dreamed of this moment, returning to the colony he had founded on Roanoke Island, bringing hope and supplies to the 115 souls he'd left behind. His daughter, Eleanor Dare, his infant granddaughter, Virginia, the first English child born in America, all of them waited for him, he believed. But as the fog lifted, something felt wrong. The air carried no voices, no smoke from campfires, no distant hammering of builders. Only the lonely cry of seabirds echoed across the desolate shoreline. White's men rowed him ashore. The sand was cold beneath his boots. He gazed at the clearing where once stood a thriving settlement. Houses were gone, wooden palisades torn down, the ground overgrown with weeds. Silence hung heavy, too complete, too absolute. "God save us," whispered one sailor. "Where are they all?" White's eyes fell upon the remains of a post. Carved into the wood was a single word, CROATOAN. No cross, no sign of distress, nothing to suggest violence. Only that one word, an enigma etched by trembling hands. Was it a clue, a direction, or a warning? As dusk settled over Roanoke, the governor stood alone among the ruins. The waves whispered secrets he could not decipher. The world's first English colony in America had vanished without a trace. 3 years earlier, in the heart of London, Sir Walter Raleigh had stood before Queen Elizabeth I herself. His voice brimmed with vision and ambition. "Your Majesty," he declared, "England must stake its claim in the New World, a land of boundless riches and glory. Let us not fall behind Spain or France." The Queen's eyes sparkled. England was eager to expand, to rival the might of the Spanish Empire. A colony in the New World could serve as a foothold, a base for exploration, trade, and perhaps the elusive Northwest Passage. Raleigh received the royal charter. He would sponsor expeditions, plant the English flag across the ocean, and bring glory to the crown. But Raleigh himself would never set foot in the Americas. Instead, he sent others, brave, desperate souls seeking land, freedom, or redemption. The first attempt, in 1585, ended in disaster. The settlers fought with local tribes, starved, and eventually returned to England. Yet Raleigh would not give up. In 1587, he entrusted a new mission to a man of reason and skill, John White, an artist and cartographer who had mapped much of the New World. White's task was to lead families, not soldiers, to establish a permanent English settlement. White's group, 115 men, women, and children, set sail on the ship Lion. Among them was White's daughter, Eleanor, and her husband, Ananias Dare. They dreamed of a new beginning, of English villages rising amid vast forests and untamed shores. After a perilous voyage, they arrived at Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina. It was an isolated but strategic location, safe from Spanish ships, near friendly tribes, and rich in fish and fertile land. The settlers built cottages, a fort, and small gardens. They hunted, fished, and traded with the CROATOAN tribe, whose chief, Manteo, had traveled to England years earlier. In August 1587, Eleanor gave birth to a daughter, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. The colony rejoiced. To them she symbolized hope, a living bond between two worlds. But joy soon turned to unease. The supplies dwindled faster than expected. Crops failed. Relations with nearby tribes soured. White realized that without fresh supplies from England, the colony could not survive the winter. So he made a painful decision. He would return to England just for a few months to gather food, tools, and reinforcements. He promised his daughter he would be back by spring. He could not know that war awaited him across the sea. When John White's ship reached England in late 1587, he found a nation gripped by fear. Spain, the most powerful empire on earth, was preparing an invasion. The Spanish Armada threatened to destroy England and crush its queen. Every ship, every sailor was needed for war. Raleigh himself was ordered to defend the coast. There would be no voyage to rescue Roanoke. White pleaded with the Queen's advisors. "My daughter and her child are stranded. They will perish," he begged. But his cries fell on deaf ears. For 3 years he waited. 3 years of sleepless nights, haunted by dreams of a colony fading into the wilderness. Only in 1590 did White finally secure passage back to the New World aboard a privateer ship. The journey was long and cursed with storms. When at last Roanoke shores came into view, White felt both hope and dread. Now, standing before the empty settlement, he realized his worst fears had come true. The carved word on the post, CROATOAN, referred to a nearby island inhabited by friendly natives. White's heart leapt. Perhaps the colonists had moved there. But before he could search, a storm rolled in from the sea, fierce and merciless. The ship's captain, fearing wreckage, refused to stay. White begged him to wait one more day, but the winds howled like angry spirits. They were forced to retreat, leaving Roanoke behind forever. John White never saw his daughter again. He died in England, tormented by the mystery that would outlive him by centuries. For generations, the question endured. What happened to the lost colony of Roanoke? Some said they were killed by hostile tribes. Others believed they joined the CROATOANs, intermarrying and disappearing into native culture. A darker rumor spoke of starvation, cannibalism, and madness. And then there were whispers of lights seen over Roanoke on moonless nights, of voices in the wind calling names long forgotten. As the winds of time sweep across Roanoke Island, the whispers of the lost still echo through the forests and the sea. No bodies, no answers, only one haunting word, CROATOAN. Centuries later, the mystery remains unsolved. Were they taken by the storm, or by something far darker than history dares to tell? If this story left you wondering about the unknown, then step deeper into the shadows of the past with us, where every secret hides a truth waiting to be uncovered. Hit like, share, and subscribe to Unrevealed Facts, your gateway to the world's most mysterious stories. Because sometimes, history isn't lost, it's simply unrevealed.